Today we're going to get into channeling, right, Tony?
Each and every one of you are not designed. We're never designed, will never be designed to be homogeneous. That is the point to remembering that you are the infinite. For you to be able to express yourself from your specific sacred geometry, allow someone else to express themselves from their specific sacred geometry, allows you both to witness both differences in those sacred geometries and loving them unconditionally. And that witnessing that each and every one of you, human or non-human, every intelligence on your planet, every consciousness, the water consciousness, the air consciousness, the planetary consciousness, the insectoid consciousness, the animal consciousness, humans, mountains, everything, as you witness everything as being different than you, giving them the opportunity and the freedom and the honor to express themselves from the facet in which they were constructed, allows you to remember yourself as a whole. Because in that moment of honoring, you are not separating yourself any more than them. You are simply witnessing God in everything. And that's how you begin to see yourself as this larger consciousness fractured into the many pieces right in front of you. A display of the many gods right in your backyard.
Welcome to the Endless Possibilities Podcast, where the journey of spiritual awakening and energy healing unfolds.
The views, opinions, and statements expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the host, Garrett Dignam, the Endless Possibilities Podcast, or True Spiritual Awakening Limited. These conversations are shared for entertainment and exploration purposes only. We do not officially endorse any guest or their teachings. Please use your own discernment.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Endless Possibilities Podcast. My name is Garrett and I am your host. Today on the show we have returning Toni Ghazi. Toni was a guest on the show about 6 weeks ago. He had an incredible interview. He went through all of his story, how he became a channel, and he did some live channeling for us. Toni channels the mantis beings, among other beings, Arcturians and Palladians. And today he's going to come on the show and he's going to do a channeling. So stick around. He has some great messages that are going to come true, and yeah, we're going to have an amazing conversation.
That we're having before we hit record, they're quite interesting, and people like to hear them.
Totally, the behind the scenes of
behind the scenes. Except Tony, we're just saying. So this is Tony's second time on the show, and he was just saying that he had so much great feedback, and so many of the viewers and listeners went and booked sessions, and yeah, we're really curious about the intergalactic channeling and the messages that came through.
Yes, and oftentimes, like for your audience, is when you know I'm channeling for you, you're getting a lot of messages about past lives, future lives, your blueprint, what you came here for. Of course, you get to ask a lot of whatever questions that like you want. So it's quite. And as I was showering today, because showers to me and driving are like spaces where all of a sudden I'm hearing things a lot clearer than I normally do, and I'm like, it just came. Like it's just a knowing. It's not even like a logical thought. I'm like, I'm maybe giving you a few messages for you personally, Garrett. So just
I welcome them.
Okay. Perfect. So I don't know if it's going to come through or not, but it was clear in the shower, which like normally is. Okay. Yeah. Your audience has been quite receptive to these things because it's truth. It's truth. We're all like multidimensional. We're all trying to understand more of who we are beyond what like society and our education system and like your culture like told you are, and even books, right? Because all truths are true. So what is your truth? How do you see the world? And oftentimes you see it from a different way. You experience it, but you stay quiet because you want to be like everybody else. Because unless, you know, like you don't want to be the odd man out or the odd woman out. But that's the whole point. The more odd and crazy you are, this is how you break the paradigm of what is. So
yeah, well, anyway, I just want to let you know that the viewers, they loved your previous interview. I always go in and read the comments. You had so many great comments.
Thank you.
Really, people really interested. And what I did is I went and I kind of compiled some of the questions that were asked from the previous interview, and also we were just joking as well. I was saying that I was kind of caught off guard. I'm normally ready for the guest. I wasn't ready for the guest of the guest, right? On the last show. So you were like, have you got messages? For this. I definitely wasn't. I was kind of like, uh-oh.
Oops.
Yeah. So today I have questions prepared.
Amazing.
And we're just going to have a great time. So if you're just tuning in and you don't know who Toni is, I interviewed Toni about 6 weeks ago. Go back, you'll hear Toni's story. It's great. Really amazing how all this started. But today we're going to get into channeling, right, Toni?
Yes, totally. So how long are we going to channel for? Like, just so...
Well, I mean, we usually I don't go over 90 minutes. So, you know, whatever you feel.
Perfect. Yeah. The reason that I ask is like once I'm in the channeling state and like the longer that we do it, the longer I'm really out of my body. So you have to bring me back. So like tell that. Okay. So like whenever you're ready and like we're there, say like, thank you God, or like, thank you man's beings, whatever you want to say. Please like bring Toni back, and then like they'll do their thing to bring me back. So if you don't do that, I'll continue channeling. So I gave it 2-3 hour. Listen to this. I gave it 2-3 hour in like December, like for social media, and a lot of people like signed up for it. I channeled from 8 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. No clue. It was 4.5 hours later until like one of the people in like the audience said, "I think you need to bring Toni back. He's been channeling for 4.5 hours." It went like this for me. So your responsibility to bring me back. Otherwise, we'll be here for a while.
Okay. And Toni, just to let you know, with this Riverside, sometimes there seems to be a bit of a lag with my voice and my lips moving on the screen, but you're going to be doing most of the talking. So let's get started.
Yeah. Yes, and I'll have my eyes closed like the whole time, so I don't see anything. I have no idea what's happening. I'll be in consciousness somewhere.
Okay, let's go.
Cool. Okay. So you ready for me to go in?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. And like, you know how they start, they have a little bit of they're a little dramatic in the way they enter, but hey, it is what it is. But like just for your audience, for like the ones who have not like experienced this, when like they come in right now, they will elongate words and like use tuning and like toning of the words to calibrate my energy and your energy. It will take maybe about 45 seconds, and then they'll bring a message through for you, Gareth, or like for the public, and they say you're welcome to pose a question. When you hear that, then you can like begin dialoguing with them as we were. Okay. If you're at home, close your eyes. If you're sitting comfortably, if you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Just keep your eyes open, but know that your third eye is open. Because what's going to happen right now, before they come through, they're just going to calibrate all of our energies just to begin to receive and open your heart. Opening your heart to me means no limitation, no suppression of anything. Everything is possible. Everything is probable. So just relax your nervous system and receive. And from... the Antares Stargate, we come through in this way to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness. To merge our heart with your heart. To be one with you in this way. To be one with the remembrance of God energies that each and every one of you are. And as we connect with you in this way, we are here to remind you that you are the sounds of creation. You are the harmonic symphonies of all that exists within the infinite. That each shade, every potentiality of a sound, of a vibration, of a frequency that exists within the infinite continuum, each and every one of you are. And one day, when all of those pieces come together as one, you will be able to remember yourself as the one, the forever forming and reforming energy of consciousness and intelligence of unconditional love. And it is no coincidence that we meet again in this lifetime, in this way, to awaken you and to allow us to awaken with you, as each and every one of you are precious pieces of the all. Each and every one of you are precious memories and creations and forms of the infinite, for us to remember ourselves even more than we have remembered ourselves before this dialogue. You are the most precious pieces within the many universes. Know that fully. And know fully that regardless of your decisions, of your actions, of your stories, of the way you feel about yourself and others, that judgment, God, Source, never has judged you and will never ever judge you. Instead, it simply witnesses each and every one of you with honor, knowing fully that you are empowered to go into the depths of darkness and pull yourself back out again into the light of what you are. And with that, our dearest ones, we will begin our dialogue with you in this way. You are welcome to pose a question when you are ready.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for being here with me and the audience. I have compiled some questions, and the first one is, what is the core message or frequency you wish to transmit to this collective right now, in this moment of humanity's awakening, to help us remember and embody our infinite magnificence?
Our message has always been to the many forms of species that exist within the infinite is the frequency of unconditional love. Love without conditions. Many of you think to the idea of concepts and the intellect and the logic and the limited idea of what you can comprehend, what love without condition means. But each and every day, you live the idea of love with conditions. In order for you to comprehend fully what unconditional love means, it requires for you to become that frequency, to face yourself, to go through your whole story of this lifetime and be able to see everything that has occurred in your life, every microsecond of your existence, every choice, decision, experience, judgment, no judgment, feeling, emotion, the whole spectrum of your whole life, every part of it, to begin to see it as value for creation, to begin to love it for what it is, because it is the many shades of the many expressions of the all. And when you are able to face yourself fully for whom you are, the light and the dark, both equal of value, both serving the infinite creator. When you are able to emanate that frequency within yourself, then it will shift the lens in which you see the world and the many worlds, and you will be able to recognize the frequency of unconditional love in others outside of you. Is that clear?
Yes. From your perspective, beyond time and polarity, what is the greatest illusion we hold that keeps us from stepping into unconditional love, and how can we gently dissolve it in our daily experience?
Yes. Thank you for posing such a question. Even the idea of illusion isn't really an illusion. Part of our frequency is to also decipher and break down the idea of words. Because within this polarity, within this density, even words hold so much power within your own sovereignty. That even when you say the idea of illusion, it almost sounds like a fantasy, something that doesn't exist, something that isn't part of reality, when even illusion itself is a facet of the many realities, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So letting go of the idea through the aspect of illusions with the weight of what you believe illusions are, as if it is separate from what creation is and the facet of creation itself, is the key. To begin to recognize the frequency of unconditional love through all forms of creation, one of which is the idea of illusion. Because truly, everything that is emanating, what seems to be outside of you, is really occurring within your infinite consciousness. It is your consciousness and your sovereignty that allows you to experience the many shades of separation, of polarity, of illusions, of projecting, of creating distance, of creating time. When everything is timeless, distance doesn't truly exist. Everything resides within you. Everything is within you. Unconditional love, you are made of. And because Source, God, the universe, loves you without conditions, because it loves you without conditions, it allows you, it lets you live the infinite realities on the spectrum of all realities, one of which is this illusionary world, yes?
Mm-hmm. What's blocking us? What keeps us? I understand that everything is unconditional love. We are unconditional love, but yet something seems to block us. You know, we can be loving towards our family, to our friends, but we still see separateness in others. We still see us versus them outside of ourselves. And I think this is the source of hatred, of greed, of, what I need to get for me. How can we break this down?
Indeed, it begins with you, our dearest one. It begins with each and every one of you. Because how else are you able to comprehend any ideas, whether it is unconditional love or any other form that you are attempting to comprehend, until you become it first? Up to that point, you are living a concept, a construction of what that idea is that your society has deemed to be the one. It requires you facing yourself, looking in the mirror, naked, fully naked, and receive yourself for everything that you are. Because that is the frequency that allows you to begin to see the unconditional love outside of you. And yes, everything is built in within the idea of suppression. But you see, we're going to unpack it for you even deeper. But we will speak a little bit about the idea of suppression. You mentioned the word blockage. There are no blockages, our dearest one. Listen carefully here. Even the idea of experiencing blockage is an act of creation, is a step towards ascension, is of the same value as the one when you awaken to your unconditional love. And when you begin to comprehend that where I am today on my journey, whether I am blocked, have forgotten, into the depth of darkness, whatever it is, the now moment of creation within your own personal field is as valuable as the next step. That's when you merge every step into your field. But what humanity does, it creates an idea of destination and more value of in the next step. And that is what blocks you. Because when you are right here and right now going through whatever you are going through, within your logical mind, you are saying, tomorrow, when I make this next step, I'm going to be ascended. What you are essentially saying, where I am right now is of less value than tomorrow, than the next step. That is judgment. That is separation. That creates distance from this version of you to the next version of you. And what we are attempting to remind you is every now moment of creation, every version of you that is attempting to comprehend the infinite and the more is of equal value to all of the other steps that you imagine one day will allow you to be more ascended. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. And when you are able to face yourself, your story, all of the micro ingredients of what made you you, and see that every drop, every micro grain of what made you you is of equal value to all of the others, that's when you integrate yourself back into the oneness of who you are, fully feeling the frequency of unconditional love. Because the frequency of unconditional love is what binds everything together, what binds this universe and the many universes and the infinite continuum itself. It is love without conditions of the universe, of God itself, that allows you to experience all of the infinite shades. And that is the point. How else, as a being, are you able to remember that you are an infinite being? Shall you not experience every aspect of the infinite, and realizing every aspect of the infinite is of the same value as the next? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. You have heard the expression that God lives within you, or God is everywhere. A literal translation of what we are attempting to tell you. When you begin to see God within you, throughout every step of your journey, of this physicality, of being a human from the moment you were born till the age you are today, when you are able to recognize that within you, you will then be able to recognize it and see it and honor and witness others from that lens. Many of you are afraid to share. Many of you are afraid to be ostracized, made fun of, to be the sore thumb, the only one that is different. But that is the point. When you step outside of the bounds of what seems to be homogeneous, it allows others to begin to awaken to their differences within them, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And it is the collection of the many differences, of the beauty of the many shades of who you are, how you think, how you feel, how you see, how you translate, etc., that allows you to remember all the shades of who you are, allows others to remember all of the other shades of whom they actually are. Because society has pushed you, religion has pushed you, education has pushed you, cultures have pushed you, your own fears have pushed you to live in boxes. And unless you are in the same box as everyone else, then you are different. And if you are different, then I'm going to be looked at as being different. Step out and be courageous. Because in reality, each and every one of you desires to be unlimited in your forms. How many of you are afraid? Yes. But having said that, even within the forgetfulness, and this is from our perspective to illuminate your mind, how we see you, our dearest ones, even through the idea of forgetting who you are and living in the darkest times that you can ever imagine, we still understand and know beyond logic, through frequency, that that is creation at play, allowing you to experience that form and that facet of creation. And that darkness of forgetting fully who you are is of equal value to the idea of enlightenment that many of you are attempting to reach. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Last week, we had an episode where we talked about spiritual bypassing and the shadow aspects of awakening. So many listeners feel fractured by these shadow aspects, fear or past wounds. How do you view these dark parts of self, and what remembrance or practice would you activate integrate for wholeness.
Hi guys, I hope you are enjoying the show with Toni. This is just a quick request to those who are new to the channel. If you would like to help support us and our guests out, if you could, please hit subscribe. Subscribing goes a long way to promoting our content to new audiences through the YouTube algorithm. The more subscribers we have, the more inclined new guests are to want to come on the show when they see the size of our audience. And our guests get more exposure and you guys get to benefit. So it's a win-win for everybody. And just hitting a like or dropping a comment down below also goes a long way. It keeps me motivated. I love reading the comments and it gives me feedback. So now back to the show with Toni. Thank you.
Indeed. Keep in mind that all truths are true. Is that clear?
Yes.
All truths are true. That regardless which teacher you are listening to, whether it's us, whether it's other teachers, whether it's other beings, whether it's your own connection with the guides, etc., all of them are true. There is no one truth more of value than the next. Is that clear? Now, understanding that fully as a general, we will say, law of creation, then you begin to see things from your own lens, because each and every one of you sees things from your own perspective, from your own sacred geometry. Your facet of how you are formed, the blueprint in which you came here on earth, Gareth, our dearest one, is different than the rest of all of the other consciousnesses that exist within the infinite. You are that one specific piece that has that specific sacred geometry. So no one else, in a way, within consciousness can see your view. And when you fully fall into the knowingness and the trust of your own antenna, of how you are deciphering the world, when you fall into that fully and trusting yourself from that perspective, then things become clearer in terms of allowing others to formulate and understand and see. It allows you the opportunity to witness others' truth. Yes? So the idea of bypassing from our perspective truly doesn't exist, as there is no bypassing. Even the word of bypassing, there is judgment built in within it, isn't there?
Okay.
Does that make sense? That within the idea of saying you are bypassing some sort of formula, you are saying that where you are right now, and shall you bypass, it is of less value than some other equation, yes?
Sure.
That is judgment, our dearest one. And what we are here attempting to illuminate your minds to is be mindful and discern the path in which you are attempting to comprehend the infinite. That perhaps to someone else it may seem bypassing, but to you for that moment may seem the perfect equation to allow you to awaken and remember, yes?
Yes.
Do not disempower yourselves by listening to others' absolute statements. Be mindful and be careful of anything that is absolute. There is nothing that is absolute, because everything is reforming and forming as form of intelligence. Is that clear?
Yes.
And this is the prison. These are the blockages that many of you fall into. That you begin to put your power, give your power away to someone else, something else, some other concept that someone else said, that somehow 1 million of your population believe. Now that becomes truth, that becomes absolute. And in that moment of rediscovering yourself, you are judging yourself that you are not there, when the whole point is you weren't meant to be there. You've already perhaps experienced that aspect of creation in another parallel reality. Where you are meant to be is the value where you are right here and right now, the moment where you are right here and right now, trusting fully that regardless whether the whole population of humanity believes in one thing, shall your heart tells you to believe in something else that is part of your awakening, trust that antenna. Because again, all truths are true. Be mindful when you disempower your own antenna of belief system, of receiving the data, of receiving the clarity. And when you put that power away to someone else or something else. Is that clear?
Yes.
because each and every one of you are not designed, were never designed, will never be designed to be homogeneous. That is the point to remembering that you are the infinite. For you to be able to express yourself from your specific sacred geometry, allow someone else to express themselves from their specific sacred geometry, allows you both to witness both differences in those sacred geometries and loving them unconditionally. And that witnessing that each and every one of you, human or non-human, every intelligence on your planet, every consciousness, the water consciousness, the air consciousness, the planetary consciousness, the insectoid consciousness, the animal consciousness, humans, mountains, everything, as you witness everything as being different than you, giving them the opportunity and the freedom and the honor to express themselves from the facet in which they were constructed, allows you to remember yourself as a whole. Because in that moment of honoring, you are not separating yourself any more than them. You are simply witnessing creation at play. You are simply witnessing God in everything. And that's how you begin to see yourself as this larger consciousness fractured into the many pieces right in front of you. A display of the many gods right in your backyard. Yes?
Yes, thank you. Okay, the next question. The heart is often spoken of as a portal. What activation or attunement are you offering now to open listeners' hearts wider so they may receive and radiate more of the love that already flows through all creation?
Yes. There are many ways, many tools in which you are able to remember that your heart has always been opened. Is that clear?
Yes.
We didn't say to open your heart. We said to remember that your hearts have always been open. So how do you remember that my heart is already open? There are many ways. We will invite you to listen. We will bring, and this has never been done online like this before. Gareth, you will be the first one to hear this online.
I'm excited.
Yes?
Yes,
We
thank
will
you.
bring some insectoid sounds of creation that allows you to remember again, to restructure the DNA structure within your field and also restructure the light structure within your field to allow you to fully remember and break through the paradigm of what you think sound is. This may be jarring at first, but that is the point. We are attempting to jar you and push you and shake you out of the reality you thought you live in. Are you ready?
Yes.
Open your hearts. Keep them open. Do not be afraid. And then frequency, harmonics, allowing you to push yourself outside of the bounds of what you think your reality is. With unconditional love, we fully see you and honor you for you who have always been the one. Simply receive the codes of memory within your field. Many of you will begin to experience dreams, wild dreams. Perhaps some of them may be falling into some abyss. Surrender fully, as that abyss isn't the abyss your mind is constructing it to be. What seems to be the abyss is the infiniteness of your own hearts, the vastness of your own hearts. And when you fully surrender, knowing that you are always safe within your heart, then you will begin to recognize and see that you have never been falling. You are simply becoming the heart that you are. You are loved beyond bounds. You are loved beyond bounds. Stretch your hearts to reveal to yourself how unconditionally loving you are. That the keys for the many kingdoms are already within you. You may continue with your questions when you are ready.
Okay. So, with all the intensifying activity on the planet at the moment, wars, earth shifts, and collective polarities, what guidance do you offer for navigating these times with grace, staying anchored in the true self rather than reaction?
Yes. Many of you have been conditioned to see others, we will say the world, simply as humans. But you are more than humans. We encourage you during what seems to be tough times are the moments where you are able to challenge yourself to go deeper into your heart and empower yourself and others. As the idea of imagining and having the intention to challenge yourself to begin to see what was deemed to be by society to be the wrong thing. That perhaps, shall there be war happening on your planet? We wish there was no war, when the act of war itself is an activation for your hearts that each and every one of you are desiring to go deeper in. But because you have been conditioned, peace looks like this. Ascension looks like this. You are pushing away another aspect of creation that is gifting you the opportunity to fall deeper into your heart. It is easy for many of you, when you are in a peaceful state, to say, I am in a hard vibration. But it is very challenging for many of you, when there are war on your planet, when there is hatred, a display of hatred on your planet, for you to be in your heart. And that is the fallacy. What seems to be outside of you, those occurrences, those happenings, those wars that are happening outside of you that seem to be negative because you have been conditioned to view them as negative. It is all designed for you to go deeper into precisely what you are desiring to go into. Those are the moments, the challenging moments, where you break the paradigm of what you were taught to see wars at and begin to open your heart with unconditional love. Because the reality of wars doesn't exist. Many of you within the spiritual community comprehend the idea of, I am an infinite being. I am an energy being. I live forever and ever and ever and ever. Death really doesn't exist. What exists is a reformation of energy. My energy is always here. It goes from density to this humanity, and I can decide as a being to live the next life in whichever form I am. I could be the wind. I could be a butterfly. I could be an actual planet. I could be a Pleiadian. I could be an Arcturian. I could be a mantis. Whatever it is. When you fully comprehend death doesn't exist, then what is war to begin with? When you see people dying, but yet you comprehend that death does not exist, what is that death that you are, with absolutism, creating the idea of war? And yes, we comprehend why you believe that way, because you contradict yourself over and over and over again. Humanity does not comprehend what it says when it says, I am an infinite being and death doesn't exist. Because shall you comprehend that fully, you will comprehend that the act of war and people dying isn't really people dying. But also built in within that system, there's a disempowerment for the perpetrators, disempowerment for the victimhood, for the victims, disempowerment for yourself. And from that disempowered state of being, seeing humans as being awful beings killing each other, seeing victims as disempowered souls, that is a fallacy. Every human on your planet, and we will concentrate simply on the idea of humanity. We can speak of plants and animals, all other consciousnesses. Every human on your planet is a light being. Know that fully. Every human on your planet is a God. Know that fully. Every human on your planet is a facet of whom you call Source. Know that fully. Regardless of the roles they are playing. The roles that they are playing are designed and perfected by their own higher consciousness. Meaning, shall a perpetrator decide to obliterate humanity? That being chose that for their own ascension, for their own learning, for their own expansion of what the infinite is, by their power, through their power of unconditional love. Imagine for a moment that that soul chose to play out a role, fully knowing that many humans on the planet will judge it. How powerful must that soul be to choose that role, fully knowing many humans on the planet will judge it. But it chose that role for its own expansion. And it also chose that role for you as the witness to expand your heart. How can I love without conditions? That role. The idea of victims on your planet, children dying, women dying, the innocent dying. That is also a fallacy, our dearest one. It is simply a role. You disempower those victims, thinking they do not have power, thinking they do not have control, when it is their higher power, their higher self, their conscious aware self that has chosen to play out that role for their own ascension, to allow them to experience what part of the infinite is. Playing out that role for their own sake is their free will choice. And through the display of power, the perpetrator and the victim, you on the outside get to witness. And that witnessing of what seems to be the illusion of atrocities, the illusion of pain, the illusion of dying, allows what, our dearest ones? Allows your heart to open up wider. Shall you be ready to fully step into the unconditional love of all? But shall you live in a state of fear? You will be stuck in a way. You will create a reality of judging the perpetrator and, yes, judging the victims. Even though you may think you are playing out the idea of loving those victims, you are judging those victims already as being weak, as being not having power, as being not being conscious, when that is also a fallacy. So this whole display of forgetting how powerful each and every one of you are allows each and every one of you to expand your heart to the next level of what you call love, unconditional, without conditions, to be able to witness the perpetrator, that perhaps the perpetrator got to the point to where they are today. For example, hating the world or hating a specific segment of your population because something along the line, something along the story of them growing up shifted and changed. How do you know? Many of you assume that people are born evil. How do you know that it isn't the story in which that child went through along their journey that reshifted their lens to see the world from a different way? Many of you do not take a moment to think, how can a being be so hateful to another human being, forgetting that in this reality, in this forgetfulness, many things happen along the life that perhaps shifted the frequency of that being. The ones that are in most pain, our dearest one, are the ones that display the greatest power. Does that make sense? And there are many other facets that we can speak of.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
You speak of parallel realities, infinite possibilities, and conscious creation. What key shifts in perception or vibration would you allow someone feeling stuck to step into a timeline of greater alignment and joy?
Yes. Many of you, all of you, have experienced the idea of parallel reality. The idea of déjà vu, for example. You are driving down the road, you pass either a tree or a truck or a specific location, and for an instantaneous second, it feels familiar. You know within your heart, I have been here before, I have experienced this, this is not new to me, this is not foreign. That is a frequency shift where you are merging, in a sense, where you are in two realities at once. You are in this reality right here and right now, at the same time having the ability to experience other realities and many other shades many of you have had. So it is not new to you. It is not an opening. You are simply, you have been conditioned that this reality is so absolute that oftentimes you are shifting into many realities, not even realizing you are. So when you begin to trust your antenna, when you begin to trust that your electromagnetic field, that your physical body, that the trillions of cells that are within your body are all antennas receiving data over and over and over again from the infinite continuum, because you are always interconnected with it. You are never disconnected to it. And trust what you are receiving. As odd, as weird, as unsentenced it may seem, oftentimes when you begin to expand the idea of me having connection with the all, you receive pieces of information that may not seem logical. Oftentimes you construct the idea of receiving messages and understanding that you are connecting to other realities in the sense of a beautiful paragraph or a flow of words, when initially it will come little sparks, little words here and there, here and there, here and there, seeming to be unconnected when they are all connected. When you begin to trust that intuition, when you begin to trust what we call synchronicities more and more and live from that frequency, then you will begin to have the idea of more control of the many realities that you are able to switch within the timelines. Is that clear?
Yes. Okay. So how do you see humanity's relationship to judgment? Judgment of ourselves, others, or experiences, and what gifts come when we release it to embrace oneness?
Yes. From our perspective, the idea of forgetting who you are, living in through polarity and separation and judgment is all the point. Is a facet of the infinite that you chose to experience, to remember that you are also this. You are also unconditional love. You are also conditional love. You are also judgment. You are also the darkness. You are also the light. You are also the fear. You are also depression. You are also happiness. You are success. You are failure. All of it. From our perspective, we simply witness you with honor as you allow yourself to awaken into the many forms that you are. What was the second part of the question again?
So the second part was, how can we co-create more consciously with beings like yourselves?
Yes. You see, when you say, and this is for everyone else out there, when you say co-creating with beings like yourself, within that statement, you are already separating us from you. When in reality, everything, every other consciousness, every other being is emanating within the one consciousness that is you. You see, what you are awakening to is that you are the source. You are the one. You are all facets and all forms of everything and everyone and every potential imagination of. The more and more that you begin to integrate what seems to be separate than me, beyond the logic, pushing the idea of logic, stretching the logic out further and further and further, allowing the logic itself to expand with you. That every time I say something that has an act of separation, a word of separation, a description of separation, consciously saying the mantis beings are part of you, they're emanating within me, the Arcturian beings are part of me, they're emanating within me, whatever you are experiencing, when you catch yourself placing distance outside in, two, it is emanating inside out, is how more and more and more you will have access to all the infinite beings that reside within you. Because truly, that is what awakening is. Enlightenment is realizing that you are the one, you are the source. Everything and everyone and every possibility, probability is emanating from you, through you, the infinite consciousness that you are. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes. Now, within this reality, within this density, that as a collection of souls, as a collective of humanity you have chosen to live the idea of separation. So on this path, there may be relevant beings on your journey, the moment you were conceived till the age you are now, until the age when you get to transition into another form, there will be specific beings on your path as you awaken that are relevant for your awakening. Meaning, it is not necessary for you to remember your infiniteness in this lifetime, because that is not the point. It is not relevant for you to connect with every other being that other humans on your planet connect with. So trust the beings that are revealing themselves within you, as those are the ones, those are the keys that allow you to continue to open the doors and enter the many heavens that are out there. Is that clear?
Yes.
And one last thing, our dearest one, many of you get stuck in the absolute idea that this human connects with the mantis, that human connects with Arcturians, this human connects with Pleiadian. You have heard of specific set of beings on the planet, but trust yourself, because each and every one of you will begin to connect to other beings other humans aren't connecting with, and it is your responsibility, in a way, your awakening, to bring forth those beings. So shall you experience other forms of beings that you are not hearing exist out there? Trust what you are experiencing and bring it through and share it with the rest of the world. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I like this next one. If someone listening feels disconnected from their worth or power, what direct transmission of love or truth would you share to remind them they have never been separate from Source?
The simple answer is, our dearest one, to whomever posed that question, is, are you still creating? Are you still breathing? Is your heart still beating? Are you still walking? Are you still dreaming? Are you still thinking? Are you still working? Do you have a family? Are you still on this physical body? In this physical body? Are you on this physical planet? Are you living? Shall you be all of those and every other shade of that? Then you are a creator. Listen to what we are saying. Shall you truly be disconnected and not of worth and not of value? You wouldn't be able to create. You would be broken, yes? But none of you are broken. It is because you are an infinite being, ever so powerful, ever so perfect, that you create the illusion of no worth. So when you comprehend and fall into the frequency of who you are as a creator, you will realize that I am choosing by my free will choice, although unconsciously to this physical body, to live out the idea perhaps of no worth for a reason. What is that reason? What value am I receiving from living a life of no worth? And when you begin to see the value in even what seems to be invaluable, is how you free yourself into what you call unconditional love towards self. Is that clear?
Yes.
Because all of it, our dearest ones, is creation. All of it is frequency of God. Everything is being fueled by something, yes? The idea of being happy is being fueled by something. The idea of being depressed is being fueled by something. The idea of being unworthy is being fueled by something. The idea of being super rich is being fueled by something. All these ideas are being fueled by something. What is that something? It is unconditional love. It is the frequency that doesn't love you with conditions. It allows you to experience all forms of the infinite so you can remember that you are the infinite. When you comprehend that beyond the logic, then you fracture, you break, you dismantle the construct of the physical reality and what you think of that has more value than the other, when everything is of value, the same value, allowing you to remember yourself as a whole. And one practical idea Challenge yourself with word, challenge yourself with psychology. Who said this action is more valuable than this action? Or this state of being is more valuable than this state of being? Who created that? Where did that come from? Does that really exist? As a society, as humanity, as the history, the historical lineage of your forgetfulness, there is the attempt to remember that you are of value. So on that journey, you create these paradigms, you create these categories, you create this value system, when underneath it, it is the illusion. The illusion is there is no one value more than the next. But when you challenge yourself and say, where did I believe? How come did I get to a point where I believe, even though today I'm feeling unworthy, that that feeling is not worthy? Begin to go into the construct of your subconscious. And the more and more and more you dive deeper, beyond, sifting through the forest of definitions, you will get to a point, in a way, of the 0 point energy, the abyss, where nothing exists, where no definitions exist. What only exists in that space is frequency of creation. And when you awaken, a light bulb moment lights up within your head, and you realize that this experience of what seems to be unworthiness is part of creation, is the point. The non-resistance to that is what will liberate you. It is the resistance because of your definition systems that I was told I should not feel unworthy, I should feel worthy. The pushing away, no, I don't feel unworthy. Why am I feeling judging myself for feeling unworthy? That pushing away of creation, of what is what will continue the loop of such. That is what we call the karmic cycle. And karma isn't a punishment, our dearest one. Karma is simply knocking on your door saying, knock, knock, knock. You open the door. Unworthiness, state of being. Nope, you're not. You shut the door. Karma comes back again. Knock, knock, knock. Who's at the door? I am a state of being of unworthiness. God created me. I am part of all. No, you're not. You're not part of me. Shut the door. Comes back again. Knock, knock, knock. Who's at the door? I'm the state of unworthiness. God created me. I am part of you. No, you're not. Shut the door. Are you beginning to see the trend? Why is that keep occurring and occurring over and over and over again? It is not punishment. It is simply allowing you to see that it is creation. It is God. It is a state of being. It is part of the infinite. And when you fully surrender the resistance and allow it in as part of creation, when you let go of the resistance is where you have brought one extra piece into your puzzle so you can see yourself again as whole. Is that clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, next one. You emphasize that everything is in perfect design with no mistakes in creation. How can we apply this remembrance when facing challenges that feel overwhelming in the human experience?
Again, along the same line that we just said, what does overwhelming feeling mean at times? Why does humanity resist such feelings? Perhaps the answer is in the surrender of what seems to be overwhelming feeling. Because oftentimes, humanity wants to understand the heart, wants to expand and be in the frequency of unconditional love in the heart. Well, that massive heart that spans the infinite, yes, is overwhelming. The question is, am I ready to receive it? Am I fully conscious of what I'm saying when I say I am ready to open my heart? So what seems to be overwhelming, allow yourself to immerse in that emotion, in that feeling, and fully surrender into the frequency. And when you surrender without resistance, magic, new visions, clarity will begin to happen. You will begin to see what seems to be overwhelming because you have predefined that state of emotion to be that, has never been overwhelming. It is the most peaceful, the most gentle, the most loving state of being. Is that clear?
Yes. Thank you. What invitation do you extend to each listener right now to deepen their connection, activate dormant potentials, or simply rest in the knowing that they are already whole?
Yes, begin with yourselves. And you have heard that from many teachers, our dearest one. And there is a point where you continue to hear that from the many facets. Because for you specifically, whoever is listening and hearing this and receiving it, you will receive love yourself fully from a different perspective and facet than the next. And that is the point. Beginning to face yourself, beginning to relive and remember your history, this physical history, the moment you were conceived and crystallized up to the age you are right now. Go back and face all of the moments, all the memories that you consciously or unconsciously chosen to push away and bury and not see. I wish I was different when I was a child. I wish I was thinner. I wish I was smarter. I wish I had more money. I wish I wasn't molested. I wish I didn't live through the war. I wish. All these wishes, our dearest ones, are separation. You are basically saying, I wish what happened to change to something different because the different aspect is more of value. This one is of less value. Go back, truly go back and face yourself, face the totality of your time, all of the things that have gone on, and see everything as God, everything as creation, everything as allowing you to remember yourself as the infinite, everything of the same value as the next, everything as neutral even, because everything is neutral when all is of the same value, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And from that frequency and vibration, then you begin to witness yourself as God at play. And the idea of value, your life becomes of value. Every breath that you take, every eye glance, every neck twist, every arm movement, every step you take, every heartbeat you hear, every person you meet, you speak, you witness, all becomes a frequency of wonder. You begin to witness the world as this magical display of all these gods, all of them attempting to search for whom they are, all of them attempting to understand what love is. What a beautiful display of the infinite right in front of your eyes. Yes?
Amazing.
You are amazing, our dearest one. And each and every one of you are amazing. Know that fully. You cannot be broken. Shall you be, you will cease to create and exist. But yet, you exist, yet you create.
Thank you. As we come towards the close of this transmission, is there a final blessing, activation, or frequency you wish to anchor into the field for all who are present or who will hear this in the future?
Yes, we will take this from a different direction because we do not want you to remember that you are disempowered. We are here and our frequency is always to empower you and every other consciousness, to allow you to remember that you are the gift. You are the precious pieces that will complete God one day. We will give you a story, a reality. The channel was called by the spirit of mushrooms last summer of your timing. He went to the state of New York and decided to take 1 gram of mushrooms, a very minimal amount, because he was afraid. The channel realizes all those consciousnesses, mushrooms and other plant medicines are teachers, and oftentimes he is afraid for his butt to be whipped. So he took the minimal amount and posed the question, What is my physical body? And he was so insistent with the mushroom spirit, asking the mushroom spirit to define to him what is physical body. Beyond the bone, beyond the blood, beyond the veins, beyond the ligaments, beyond the muscles, what is physical body? And this is for each and every one of you, our dearest one, a gift of remembrance. What the mushroom spirit showed him is what seemed to be a lineage, a timeline that goes to the past. This experience of this long energy trail of his lineage. And what he experienced in that moment is the following. Every version of him that has lived in what you call past timeline, the wishes that each of the versions have declared or gave or asked for God, for consciousness. Every version of him that didn't like the way that it looked, if it wasn't rich enough, if it wasn't like thin enough, if it wasn't happy enough, whatever it is, every version of him, essentially, those versions were judging themselves, wishing for something different. Every wish that went up into the stars is what began forming this physical body of the channel. And what came next was, this is how precious you are. That you are the physical emanation, the physical crystallization of all of the wishes of the previous versions of you that couldn't be. In that moment, you are the most valuable answer to the many prayers. That's how precious each and every one of you are. Your physical bodies, your stories, your experience, your idea of remembering was crystallized and formed by the many wishes of the previous versions of you that couldn't be. You are the answer to the many prayers. Sit with that. You are precious. You are the perfect emanation, the perfect creation that the other versions of you could not be. Go beyond the mind, go beyond the logic, and understand fully what that means. That I am the one that the many versions of me could not be. How precious is that? How perfect is that? How godly made is that? So as you live your lives, as you decipher and attempt to understand who you are, remind yourself over and over and over again, my physicalization, my crystallization, my physical body, my story is the answer to the prayer of the many versions of my old selves that couldn't be. And as you are living your life now, wishing you were something different, you are creating another version. In a sense, higher version of you. That is the answer to your prayers. And what you need to comprehend here is even the idea of wishing. I wish I was something different allows the creation of another version. That should you not have gone through this experience of not having, giving you the opportunity to say, I wish, what a gift this display is, this creation, it is allowing a formation of a prayer to be physicalized. Is that clear? Does that make sense, our dearest one?
Yes.
So when you challenge your mind and push the logic, push the paradigm of what you think society is, education, self-worth, etc., push the bounds of the logic and go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, you'll begin to see that you are the magic. You are the answer. Everything that you have gone through were the keys for you to remember. Everything is perfectly designed always for you to remember. Each and every one of you are more worthy than you can ever think, ever. And you are witnessed by many other beings that are more conscious to whom they are, with honor and privilege, because they consciously know you have chosen to come here and forget fully who you are, because you already knew that you are powerful enough to remember again. It takes courage to go into that depth of darkness and then reveal back to yourself, emerge back into the light that you are. You are always witnessed with honor by many beings across the infinite planetary bodies as one of the most powerful species God has ever created. You are loved unconditionally. You are held and supported by the many. You are simply awakening to what love without conditions truly means. And it begins with self, with you, the most precious emanation of God itself.
Thank you. Thank you for all your messages today. I think we have come to the end of the list of questions we had from the viewers and the listeners. I think it's probably time that we bring Toni back. Thank you for all your wisdom.
With our unconditional love, bright, 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 bright white light of creation, and the darkest and the deepest shadows of the infinite, we thank you for this beautiful co-creation of oneness, as you have allowed us to expand and remember more of who we are through your precious existence and lens and remembrance. And in turn, you have allowed Source, the one, the continuum, to remember itself through you. We are forever grateful for this opportunity to connect and remember each of our facets again. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we head back to Antares Stargate.
Thank you so much.
You know, I'm gonna keep my eyes closed for a second because and it's really like amazing when you go into the depth of whatever you call it. It's like I don't want to open my eyes, but I just want to say it's so funny because I do this all the time, right? This is not new to me, but every time I'm like wowed by the information, wowed by the experience. I'm like, and I want to say it's because of the questions, because of the ingredients. You know, I always tell my clients, you know, oftentimes they think I'm channeling for them, that, oh, you know, they're receiving all the value and all the data. It's the opposite, actually. I mean, it's both, right? Through your questions, through the lenses in which you see the world, you and like your audience, I allow myself to go into these states and receive so much. So we're channeling for each other. It's so magnificent. It's so beautiful. It is so out of logic, like, because the moment I'm going to open my eyes, I'm going to begin to forget. This is how it works. And I'm going to come back to the logic of forgetting. And so it's amazing.
Thank you, Toni. That was great. Thank you so much for I guess for stepping aside, right? That's what you do. You completely step aside. The personality of Toni, boom, is gone. And
Totally. And it's always like a surprise to me. I don't know how this happens. I mean, like people think I think I have no idea really how it really works. But the best way that I can describe it, as you just asked that question, is I become like many versions at one, if that makes sense. Like, right? So I'm here, but not here. I can hear, but I cannot hear. I'm this version, but not other version. But the moment I open my eyes, I'm like, okay, I'm here now. That definitely was not me. Like, it's a clear thing. But when I'm in it, it's like what I call hyper awareness. Like you become hyper aware of the many versions you are. And in our minds, we can't comprehend, oh, how can I be here, 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 and have all these thoughts at the same time? Like, this is the next level of like consciousness. Like the logic is not going to understand that fully. So you go into the illogical and experience, and you begin to get those hints of like, oh, okay, this is how that feels. This is how this works. And of course, I don't know exactly how it works, but trusting myself and not needing to know how it works is liberation. Sometimes we get stuck into understanding how and why and da-da-da. That's like, you're not surrendering into what is. You're wanting to know something, so you're holding on to something so much and you're missing out, right? So fully trusting that this is happening, like fully trusting this is real, fully trusting I'm not making this up and I'm not a fraud. And it's weird because I get moments sometimes I'm like, did I just make all this shit up? Like, but of course I know that I didn't. Like, but the mind comes and it messes with you. It blurs out these words, and there's doubt. I doubt myself sometimes, you know? And I always have to remind people, please, 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 please. Sometimes you may witness all these channels or all these gifted people, psychics, I don't know what else, whatever that seems to be woo-woo. And you're like, oh, they're special. Oh, they have these gifts. Oh, after like we're done, I'm going to go through my back. It's been hurting for a month and a half. I'm going to go through my life. I'm going to go through my own thing. Just yesterday, I had a whole conniption about self-worth and about value. And I'm going to post this video like later today. I realized I've been all my life, and I'm 45 years old, all my life I've been receiving the idea of value from others. And it clicked in another shower yesterday, because like showers are like the moments where like, damn, this is good. Where I'm like, okay, like we went to school. The teacher will tell you if you're valuable, like, you know, or not, based on what your grade you got on the test or whatever. Like your parents, like, will tell you things, the whole idea of like judgment. So you begin to form the idea of like value being received like from others. Then you go into the workforce. The boss is the one who's going to tell you if you're good, smart, not smart, performance, didn't perform, all that bullshit. Little by little, we all begin to live in this world. Value comes from others. And it hit me yesterday. In all the events I've done, I mean, I've done over like 40 events right now, and I get invited, and some I don't get invited, some I ask, whatever. And it clicked. I'm like, why am I doing all this? Why am I like, what destination am I? Like, why am I? And it just clicked. Like, I have allowed my value to come from others. I never have given myself the opportunity to see the value of it, like within me. So I decided yesterday, and I'll post on social media so people know that after all the events, so I have 6 or 7 events until mid like summer. I'm going to halt everything. I'm going to go on a year journey of like working with medicine, mushrooms, iboga, like, you know, bufo, and I've done bufo, like all of it designed to understand what value is, how it looks like, how do I experience it, how do I like literally deconstruct the paradigm of what I thought value is and begin to literally see myself as value. Like, I have no idea. And I have like invited like documentary, I would love to film like my journey. So each month or like 2 months, I would travel somewhere and work with a plant medicine, with a shaman, and just document how in reality you awakened from the way I do it. Like, for your audience, I'm still trying to figure it out. So don't put me on a pedestal. I'm like you. And, you know, anyhow, so anyways.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Tony. And I mean, I would love to watch that.
Totally.
But you need to do 5 dry grams. Not 1
5 grams of what, mushrooms? I know, you know, I was...
We just heard.
Oh my gosh. I was in LA last week, like for an event, and I had these 2 ladies, like they have a farm and like 40 acres, like, oh my God, you have to come to our place. We have a beautiful place. And like we do mushroom journeys. I'm like, oh, okay. Like the most I've done maybe like 1.5 maybe. But I didn't like 1.5 all at once. I would like gradually go up, which is like very different. And they're like, no, you have to do they said a mini hero dose. It said, we'll begin at 3.5 grams. I'm like, like my heart just dropped. So yes, part of those journeys is to go in, to really, and see what you receive and just document it and see from my facet, this is how it looks. This is, you know, and of course it's not to become reliant, because you really can't become reliant. Like those teachers will kick your butt. You're going to break the ego. There's fear involved. I'm always afraid when I do them. Always, like very terrified. Because the ego doesn't want to let go. The ego doesn't want to ego feels safe where it is. I feel safe where I
Yeah.
am, right? So it's like to go into the unknown state is terrifying. But then you realize all love, you realize all beauty, you realize all remembrance. And so I know it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I was just teasing it anyway about the dose.
Okay. Oh, I
It was
thought you
just
were serious.
because during the channeling they said you were afraid to go above 1 gram. Yeah.
Totally. I'm always afraid. It's serious business, right? It's not like you go in there and I'm high. There's no highness. You're going into yourself. And like sometimes to awaken, you have to go into the depth of your shadows to face them, and that's like a journey, into
Amazing.
the dark soul, dark night of the soul, whatever they call it.
Today was fascinating. Thank you so much again for joining us. Yeah. So if people want to get in contact with you, I'm going to put all your links down below, your YouTube channel, your Instagram, website. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Thanks so much again for coming back on the show.
Thank
Tony.
you.
It's
Love you,
been
Gareth. Thank you for
great.
the invite. We'll always come back.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
to the viewers and listeners. I hope you really enjoyed the channeling today. Take care, guys. Until the next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
This has been the Endless Possibilities Podcast, where the journey of spiritual awakening and energy healing unfolds. Garrett is a lifelong seeker of truth, a spiritual teacher and author, and it's his passion to delve into the profound world of consciousness. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope you've gotten something from it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, the podcast is available on YouTube and all the major podcasting platforms. Find us on Instagram at _mother_force. Take care, and we'll see you soon on the Endless Possibilities Podcast.